What's up, YouTube? Back at it again with another banger video. This is the finale, part 12, baby. Crisis on Infinite Earths. Final crisis. So we start off, we're in Brainiac's ship, his head ship, and we have these characters who were there last time. Remember I said that they thought that Brainiac was dead? But he's not really. You see, his ship is still alive, and since Brainiac is his ship is him, they're linked. If his ship is still alive, that means Brainiac is too. So he wakes up his little, humanoid body, and when he comes alive, he's like, "Why are you aboard my ship? I'm about to kill all of you." And they say, "Oh, you just helped us fight the Anti-Monitor." And he says, "Oh, I would never help you." He doesn't remember because he wasn't there for the events of issue 10. Like I explained in the last part, you had to be present for the events of issue 10 to remember the past universes. So they have to explain that to him. And apparently he believes them. It makes sense to him. And we're taken to the main universe now. The only universe now. The reborn Earth, where the skies are filled with this antimatter. There's a huge electrical storm, and the two Supermen are witnessing this. Not only the two Supermen, but everyone else on the Earth is seeing it, no matter where you are, even in the spirit realm. You're still witnessing this giant anti-monitor in the sky. And then the sky goes completely black. And the Supermen with their telescopic vision are able to look at every city on Earth and see the panic that's taking over. Harbinger appears and asks them for their help one last time, finish the job. She comes for the new Dr. Light. Dr. Light has done a complete 180. In the beginning, when we first met her, she was kind of an unlikable character, but now she's a full hero. We see the black of the sky starts to crack and burst open with light, and we see that it was just densely packed shadow creatures, these shadow demons, whatever you want to call them. You know, the Anti-Monitor's henchmen. And this is the final fight. This is the final push. You know, the shadow creatures are attacking every city, every realm. You know, you see characters who you haven't even seen in the series before. B'wana Beast is there. You know, Black Lightning. You're seeing Blue Devil, Starman. You know, this is the final fight to protect the last Earth. This is the spirit realm. They're doing their best to shield the shadow creatures from reaching them. And through the spirit realm, you can look through and you can see the physical world down below. The heroes have assembled for one last time. You know, they need one more chance to kill this Anti-Monitor guy. So they mention here that the magical characters are going to stay behind and ward off these shadow demons. Meanwhile, all the rest of the heroes will travel to Qord, the antimatter world, to search out the Anti-Monitor and defeat him once and for all. Alexander Luthor is able to open up a gateway, since he is half positive matter, half antimatter, which they travel through. Meanwhile, the people on Brainiac's ship have been taken to Apocalypse. Brainiac says that he knows one person who's powerful enough to help them, if they can only convince him. And of course, that person is the leader of Apocalypse, Darkseid. We also see a news broadcast with Lana Lang talking about Hawk and Dove, how they're rescuing people. Dove sees a person that they missed, a kid left behind in a window. He goes back for him, and he gets killed. Just another one of the many casualties of this series. back in Salem, they're having a seance with all the magical characters, just pouring their energy into these two guys, since the Spectre, he's still kind of comatose from that last battle that they did back in issue 10. He's not going to be able to be used right now. So right now it's just Dr. Occult and Alan Scott Green Lantern. You know, if you remember the Alan Scott Green Lantern, his powers are all magic-based, not science-based, like Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Guy Gardner, the rest of the Green Lanterns. Okay, back on the antimatter world of Cord. They're exploring Cord looking for Anti-Monitor. That's when Wally West, Kid Flash, witnesses another vision of Barry Allen, the Flash, the one who's died. So if you remember back in that issue where the Flash destroys the antimatter cannon, we saw visions of throughout time of him interacting with, Batman and Kid Flash. Well, this is the part with Kid Flash where he had this conversation. And, the part with Batman happens in the beginning of the book where you see the vision of Flash from Batman's perspective. Then you see the Flash as he goes back in time and meets Batman. And then you see Kid Flash, and you're not really sure what to make of that until you get to this chapter in the book, and you see that it was actually the future, not the past. So this sort of fills in all the gaps of Flash's time travel. He hears someone talking, and he races over there to find Psycho Pirate with the Flash costume. Superman lifts up this giant stone, and Wally West is able to pull out that costume, and someone offers Wally the ring. That's the ring that Flash keeps his costume stored inside of. And he realizes that, Barry Allen is really gone now. And that's when we get the big reveal of the Anti-Monitor. It's time for the final showdown. But not before we see Atlantis again. And this time, someone else is killed. Lori. I think her name is Aqua Girl. I'm not 100% sure on that. But she gets killed too, just like the Dove. Also, Green Arrow from Earth 2. They get this guy, Prince Rawman. They get a lot of them. We get these panels between the pages of this seance going on, as they're fighting off these shadow demons. And you notice like the panels get really small, really dense. A lot of stuff is going on. They have a lot to pack into this last issue. This last issue is double size, so you're getting the double amount of pages. So they still have they have more room, but they still have a lot to fit into those pages. So they're trying to fight off the Anti-Monitor again. They notice that Anti-Monitor is feeding off of a nearby star to give him his power. And now Dr. Light, the new Dr. Light, is going to block the star so that he will no longer be feeding off of that power. This makes him vulnerable to these attacks, and Dr. Light keeps absorbing the energy from that star. Negative Woman wraps herself around him, sort of like she did a couple issues ago to Chemo. She keeps him from being able to move while everyone else fires their attacks at him. And he collapses on Cord. And they think they've got him whooped. But as we've seen before, he just keeps coming back. We see Alexander Luthor, he says, "With the power I absorbed from the Anti-Monitor added to my own, I can pry open a space between the positive and negative universes large enough to slide through the Earth and return it to the natural plane." To the natural plane. I forgot to mention a couple pages ago that the magic guys, they were able to create a cage out of this Green Lantern energy, and to scoop up all of the shadow demons from around the world and lock them in a cage in space. that was kind of important, and it's something I just glossed over. Sorry about that. Continuing, they push the Earth back into the normal space. A lot of the heroes follow it, but a few are left behind. And that's Superman, Superman from Earth 2, Superboy Prime. They see that Green Lantern is sending this cage full of shadow demons back into the antimatter dimension. This sudden influx of energy into the antimatter dimension wakes up Anti-Monitor again, and he kills one of the Wonder Women. Just vaporizes her. So, of course, this riles everybody up, and but Superman 2, he forces everyone to go back into the positive realm. He says he's going to take on Anti-Monitor and finish him off here. Sort of like a suicide mission. So he entrusts Superboy Prime to carry the Superman from Earth 1 and Lady Quark back into the positive dimension. And he does carry them to the doorway, but then he throws them in and he stays behind to help Superman from Earth 2 fight the Anti-Monitor. We see that back on Apokolips, Darkseid is able to look through Alex Luthor's eyes because he's a conduit between universes. Darkseid says that his science permits him to gaze through his eyes. We see that Superboy Prime goes back to help Superman from Earth 2. They both get grabbed. Because we learned that Alexander Luthor is a conduit, which Darkseid stated a few pages ago, here with Superboy and Superman from Earth 2 trapped, he's able to give Alexander Luthor an extra burst of energy through this device, and he transfers power from Apokolips through Alexander Luthor and is able to fire it at the Anti-Monitor. So in a way, Darkseid helped save the day this time. And he says, while I helped you this time, next time we meet, it shall be as enemies. So we have Superboy Prime, Superman from Earth 2, Alexander Luthor, chilling on an asteroid. And they think they've won. But they turn around and they see that from that star, where Dr. Light had harnessed that energy, a ball of fire comes racing towards them. And it's Anti-Monitor's head. You know, he no longer has that shell. His shell got destroyed once before. But now his second improved shell has also been destroyed. And he's just a flaming ball of energy. So Superman 2 flies right at him. He punches Anti-Monitor back into the star, which causes it to implode, and it sends a shockwave. Shockwaves rippling outwards. It's destroying everything it touches. Everything will be disintegrated. Everything for 1,000,000 miles in all directions. So this is the Earth 2 Superman. He's the Superman from the Golden Age stories of Superman, where he just has like unlimited power, you know, just way OP. They sort of, you know, they definitely pare back his strength a lot, especially after this Crisis on Infinite Earths. He's way less powerful in the John Byrne stuff that follows. But yeah, this guy, he is probably the most overpowered character to ever be made. So this is it. They finally killed him. They sent him into that sun and it exploded and he's finally gone. He's finally donezo. And Alexander Luthor, he's able to give Superman 2 one more gift. He said that, he says, "She is alive, Superman, alive and safe." "What are you talking about? She no longer exists once Earth 2 ceased to be. What are you doing, Alex?" He says, "I know how the universe would be reborn. I knew the consequences, and I could not let you, of all heroes, suffer that loss." And out of Alexander Luthor's body of light, Lois Lane from Earth 2 emerges. She says, "I was inside him, Clark, in a place that was so beautiful. I never thought I'd see you again. I can't take you back to Earth, but I am a tunnel into that other place. Come into me, we will all go there." So, sort of like a heaven inside this, like a star child, Alexander Luthor. And the three of them travel into the light, and we never see them again. We see that Harbinger has kept her promise. You know, the Monitor tape sub-story that was a few issues ago that ran down here, where she promised she would keep Monitor's quest to attain knowledge and to document it. She has kept that promise. And she writes down the facts of this crisis that we've just faced. Fact 1, the apparent death of Wonder Woman, the death that we saw a few pages ago. When the Monitor's weakened death beam struck the Amazon princess, she did not die. She was somehow sent back through time, devolving as she did. This is all setting up the rebooted Wonder Woman comic. I think George Perez was the one that took over after Crisis on Infinite Earths. But it says she was sent back through time from woman to girl to infant to her original state of creation. So this is just resetting the clock on these characters. You know, once they've been around for so many years and they have so much backstory and they're older, you know, the creators, they run out of ideas and they want to reset the clock on a lot of them. So that's what's happening here. And it says Earth 2's Wonder Woman, the older one. Beautiful as Aphrodite, wise as Athena, swifter than Mercury, and stronger than Hercules, had no world to call her own. The king of the gods knew her great powers had come from the gods. She could not be abandoned. So she joins Zeus on Mount Olympus. Everyone mourns the loss of their loved ones. Flash, he hears from the doctor, and because of the rebirth that happened, his powers are no longer killing him, and he's free to be the Flash again, or Kid Flash. But he decides that he's going to pick up the mantle of Barry Allen and become the true Flash. And this is a change that sticks for a long time. For well over a decade, Wally West is the Flash. It says, in this new world, there is no great disaster, but a lost child will still be found in Command D. This time by General Horatio Tomorrow of the Planeteers. The child will be called Thomas. There will be wars, and each war will create its own heroes. Jonah Hex came from the past, but now he fights in a future gone mad. Saddest of all is the split that has ruptured the Guardians of the Universe. A split which they may never recover. Of course, this is followed by the Green Lantern Corps series. We see that Lady Quark, Pariah, and Harbinger are all left together as they mourn the Monitor. So the epilogue, the last page here, we see Psycho Pirate in a straitjacket in a padded cell in Arkham Asylum, and he remembers. Somehow, everyone else has forgotten. Even though he did not witness the events that happened in issue 10, he remembers the alternate universes. But everyone else just writes him off as crazy. Wow, what a book. 12 chapters, 12 videos on Crisis on Infinite Earths. This story was much different than I had remembered it. You know, I first read it probably over 10 years ago. And I'm not sure I really grasped much of it. You know, there were a lot of characters who I didn't know. There was a lot of things that I didn't really understand the background of what's going on. After reading a lot more comics, I kind of got an understanding, and I thought that this series would be a good way for me to share that knowledge with, you know, the person who's maybe just getting into this comic book thing, and they don't know all this background. So I hope this reading gave someone out there a better understanding of this story arc. It is very dense. It is enjoyable, but it is very dense. I just want to say thank you for watching. I know that this has been a long series, and I appreciate all the views that I've been getting. Please like and comment and share this video if you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for whatever I got next. Thanks. Bye.